This is Anchor Your Retirement with Barb Gulin from Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Barb Gulin provides her clients and prospects the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful strategies to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now here is Anchor Your Retirement with Barb Gulin.
Welcome to the Anchor Your Retirement podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Gulin, and hanging out with me as usual is my buddy and pal, Tony Shore. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Barbara. Great to see you again. I'm happy to be here. Excited about the show today. Yeah.
Me too. But I'm more excited that the sun is out because it was raining all morning. Now, we need the rain, so I can't complain.
Right.
Now, why it waited for the day of a ladies' charity golf tournament, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's right. You were sponsoring a golf tournament today, and it got rained out, didn't it?
Well, they're probably out there golfing now, but I feel sorry for the greenskeepers. It was going to be a soggy mess. Yeah, but we still got to go out and meet a lot of people and have a lot of fun. It was just in the clubhouse, not on the tee.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It worked out for everyone. Sounds like they're going to get to golf anyway now that it's cleared up a bit. Well, you know what? I want to jump right in because you've got a topic that we could talk forever. We were talking before the show. We have so many stories about this topic. And let our listeners know, what is the topic today?
Today, we're talking about protecting yourself from online and telephone scams.
Ah, yes. And they have become so prevalent. Online scams via your email, your texts, and phoning you, calling you on your cell, or even, still home lines, but even on cells now, you get so many scam calls. It's
insane. It is so insane. And in fact, I looked up an article just when I decided I wanted to do this topic because I had a client that had to have a very difficult conversation with me this week, which is what brought this up. And online scams are up nearly 70%. Wow. So if you think that you're immune to it, think again.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, you need to be super vigilant about what's going on.
Well, yeah, and I think that's just, you do have to be vigilant. And I think it's bad because they typically target seniors, don't they, or older people?
They do. They're a more vulnerable population for a number of reasons. They're usually not as tech savvy as their kids and grandkids are, especially their grandkids. And it's real easy to prey on your heartstrings, especially one of the more prevalent scams is them calling or emailing and pretending to be a grandchild and saying, I'm stranded, can't communicate by phone, have to communicate by email, need you to send me usually some sort of obscure gift card, like an Apple card or something like that. And, tell enough of the story so that it's credible.
Yeah.
And then, grandparents, after all, if it says that you can't communicate with me by phone, why would I try calling? And, in defense of the older population, I have some friends that are my age that about 5 years ago were taken and sent some money to,
it can happen to anybody. And they can be convincing. These scam artists have gotten so good at this. And with the help of the internet and the resources they have to do their background research, they can convince you that they are anybody and that you need to do things. And it's just bad. If somebody calls asking you for money, hang up and call that person directly or that company directly, right? Isn't that the solution?
Right. And if you don't recognize it, or if it's somebody offering you a deal that's too good to be true, quite honestly, you need to hang up and you either need to call the police or you need to contact your state attorney general.
Yeah.
And let them know that this is going on.
Yeah.
Cliff Notes version with what happened to my client was that they were duped into a cryptocurrency scam where somebody reached out to them and said that they could help them make money in cryptocurrency. Huh. And my client was led to believe that these people were local because he talked about all kinds of things around town. So this person has to be local. And I looked at him and I'm like, sweetheart, with Google and Google Maps, all you have to do is pull it up and you can have a conversation as if you're sitting across the street because the map has everything they need to know right there and all that information. Sadly, and my client wasn't taking withdrawals from his investments with me. He was primarily using cash value in his life insurance policies to fund this. So, as a fiduciary. So
he didn't run it by you or go through you.
No. And, if you've got a financial advisor and somebody else approaches you about a way to make money, call your financial advisor. They will let you know, it's our job, especially as fiduciaries, to try to stay on top of these things. And quite honestly, if he had called me and repeatedly been asking for money, even when my clients call and ask, I'm like, look, I'm not trying to be nosy, but especially if you're asking for a larger sum, I need to know what you intend to use this money for.
Right.
Just because, and, I usually make a joke about one of the more common internet scams. I said, as long as you're not telling me that you met the man of your dreams online and that he saved the Sultan's daughter and you need to get him some money so he can ship all this gold to you, we're okay.
Yeah, that's a classic. I forget what they call the phishing, the scam, the honey pot scams or whatever it's called, where I've heard that people have gotten suckered in. They develop a relationship online with you and then they say, hey, I'm from this country. I can come over and be with you and I would love to see you. But I bought you this ring and now I can't afford to come over, send me some money, send it in gift cards or it's that's a prevalent, these dating scams and the cryptocurrency. I mean, even if a cryptocurrency offer is remotely legit, it's probably a scam in the long run because you're probably going to lose that money. You never know.
Well,
it's
let's
risky.
Call
it's
a spade
so
a
risky.
spade. Cryptocurrency is not regulated by anybody.
No,
it is the Wild West of finance.
Yeah.
And, I know some people that have had some success and that have made money with it. I personally am proud to say I have no participation in the blockchain.
Or they've told you they've made money or they're in the positive now, but a year from now, unless they invested and then pulled out when it went up, they haven't made anything, right? It's like the stock market. You can't say I've made this much money until you sell on paper, right? It's on paper, and the problem is a lot of people when that one cryptocurrency business that was like supposedly handling all these transactions went down.
You mean the one with the guy in jail right now?
Yeah, billions of dollars went poof,
right,
and it's gone.
Right. And, the difference between the cryptocurrency market and the stock market is the stock market is very heavily regulated.
Yes, exactly. And you work with people that are going to actively manage your money. And if you're working with a fiduciary like yourself, you won't end up with all your eggs in one basket, or at least you'll get the advice to make the right decisions.
Or if you continue to go down that path, like I was telling you before the show, this client isn't the first client that I've had that has fallen prey to some sort of scam. I had another client a couple of years ago who had a timeshare that he wanted to get rid of.
Okay.
And was allegedly contacted. And as soon as he called me to ask for the first sum of money, I'm like, this is a known scam. And I need you to be aware that if I need to know if you contacted them or if they contacted you.
Right. And there are so many, because timeshares, they really heavily sold people on timeshares. And a lot of people got upside down in their timeshares because they didn't know what they were signing, or it's costing them a lot of money and the costs went up. And they don't want it anymore. So what happened is a lot of companies or a lot of scammers took advantage of this and said, hey, we can help you get out of your timeshare and get out of that bad contract and help you sell your timeshare. But it's really a scam.
Well, if you're on any social media, those ads pop up all over the place.
Yes, they do.
And, this client fought me tooth and nail to prove to me that this was a legitimate company. And he was forwarding me emails. And because the emails had a signature block that looked sophisticated and that looked professional, I would pull up the address on Google Maps and show him that the address didn't exist, that the number for the building literally existed between two different buildings and there was no room for it.
Right.
And, he was insistent that, no, this was valid. This was legitimate. It had to be, unfortunately, we had to cut ties with that client because he wasn't listening.
Yeah.
And, what I want the listeners here to understand
you can't force people to make decisions or follow your advice.
We can't. And ultimately it's their money. And if they want to do something with it, it's their decision. Now, if I'm suspicious of it being a scam, I'm going to do everything I can to inform you and try to get you to make another decision.
Sure.
But a few tips for your own safety is if somebody calls you and says, I've got your son, your daughter, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, and you need to send them money, usually by a gift card or something untraceable like that. You can't communicate with them right now because of XYZ, but they're in dire straits and need this help. I want you to hang up from that conversation or get off of that email. Call the relative that they tell you is compromised right now.
Yeah.
And
even if they tell you directly. Not to call them,
even if they tell you not to call,
is compromised, etc., just call
them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or call their parents or call their, call another person who knows them or lives.
Yeah. Don't send anything until you verify the information.
Yeah.
My friends a few years ago who are more my age that got duped, we had some friends that were very active on the mission field.
Oh,
and what happened was the scammer had hacked their email account and emailed several of their friends and said, we're overseas. We have no phone service. We've been robbed. We need money to get back home. Especially when it's coming from an email that you trust.
Yeah.
It's really easy to just act.
It looks like it's from their email. Yeah.
Right. Well, and it was. They had actually gotten into their email and hacked it. If people are making inbound calls to you, offering to sell you something, offering to get you in on the ground floor of an opportunity, anything, telling you, there's a lot of utility company scams where there are people calling, pretending to be the utility company, saying they're going to cut off your electricity or whatever it is right away, unless you XYZ, usually paying by way of gift card. Gift cards are very hard to trace. Yeah. And that is a big red flag. Yeah. If somebody is asking to be paid in a gift card, it's probably a scam.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And that's not good.
No.
Yeah. And I will tell you about one. My mother-in-law got hooked into this. Oh, no. She's older, a senior, retired, lives on her own, has a computer. This is a few years back. But her computer, she opens emails she doesn't know. She clicks on things. She was too trusting. She clicks on a lot of things, whatever. And then her computer got really, really slow. Things wouldn't open up, wasn't working properly. And she got a phone call. This has been going on for a couple of days. Then she gets a phone call saying it's Microsoft. And they notice, hey, there's a problem with your computer and the connection. This is Microsoft, and it's a bug in our Microsoft operating system. We can fix it for you for a fee. Our service department charges this. We just need your credit card number and information. And So they are, and then she gave them her check card, so it comes out of the, so
out of the bank account that way. Instead.
Yeah, thousands of dollars. And they kept doing it. She did it, didn't tell anybody, so we didn't know this was going on. And then they do something to her computer remotely because they say we need your computer password and everything. So they had all her passwords. They had access to everything on her computer, and that's a common scam.
You
get calls
common.
saying it's, hi, this is Microsoft, and you might have accidentally clicked on something in an email or a text. And then they know, and then that released a virus that caused something. And then they call you saying, hey, is this happening to your phone? We're having this issue, blah, blah, blah. So it sounds like, wow, they must know. But I did learn, I researched it when we found out this was happening. It's a common scam.
Very common.
And here's what I'll let our listeners know. At least I found out in my research. Microsoft will never call you. In fact, if you want to get a hold of a live person at Microsoft, good luck. Yeah. So they'll never call you. And the IRS, a lot of people call saying this is the IRS, you owe back taxes or et cetera, et cetera. You need to send us, give us your pay this now or send us gift cards to cover this amount and we'll take care of this. The IRS will never call you on the phone. Microsoft will never call you on the phone. Amazon won't call you on the phone. Amazon will never, ever call you. Google will never, ever call you. These major electronic technology companies.
Facebook will never call you.
Facebook is the worst. You can't get any there's no help with Facebook, and they will never call you. And you can't even find online contact for Facebook. So these companies don't ever call you on the phone. Same with the Social Security Administration, right? They don't call you.
Right. One of the best things that you can do if you have an older family member that you are concerned would be vulnerable is to really stay in constant communication with them and, keep the connection going.
Yeah.
And check in with them. My client was too embarrassed to reach out to me until it got too bad.
Same with my mother-in-law. She was too embarrassed to tell anyone this was going on because she thought she might have made a mistake. So
right. And these scammers prey on that shame.
Yeah.
And that sense of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I fell for this. And anybody who's listening to this that thinks they might be in the middle of something like this, number one, stop. Number two, it's okay to tell somebody.
Yeah.
Number three, aside from bringing in a trusted family member who can help you untangle the spaghetti and dig through some of the mess that may have been created, is you need to contact the local authorities and your state attorney general.
Yeah.
Many states now, if you're aware of some sort of elder abuse that's going on, even financially, people like me, you have to report it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's terrible. And it's terrible how they target seniors. It makes me so angry that they target seniors.
Yes.
It's just like, okay, these people understand technology less. They're more trusting. So they're part of that generation where they trusted more. So it's a crime, but they really do target seniors more. You can get it. Yeah, you can get spam calls or people can try to scam you at any age, but the majority of the targets are seniors.
Yeah, and my warning to everybody is if you didn't initiate the call, don't give them any information.
Right.
If you
hang up and call them back, you know what I mean? And don't call a number they give you to call. Right. Look it up. Like if the IRS calls you, right? You talk to your tax professional and say, hey, I got this call. Can you deal with it? Or if you have a financial services professional and it's about money, contact them and say, hey, I got this call. Does this sound right? And you'll be able to tell them, hey, no, that's not legit, or hey, let's reach out to that insurance company, or let's reach out to the Social Security Administration and see.
Same thing with an email. Don't click on a link that comes in an inbound email. Go to the website directly without clicking on that link.
Yes.
And, something that you and I were talking about is, my client who got duped by this cryptocurrency scam. If the person that is reaching out to you to solicit or to tote their wares and they want you to give them money,
right?
Number one, they need to be willing to meet with you in person, or at minimum a Zoom call where you can see their face.
Yep.
And if it involves anything with money and you can't look them up through a regulatory organization like FINRA or your state insurance commission, if they don't have a license or any way to verify that they are a legitimate person doing business, then just don't. Because if the opportunity sounds like the opportunity of a lifetime and it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah. In almost every circumstance. I mean, that's why nowadays, if you don't recognize a number or where a text is coming from or a call, don't take it. Don't ever click a link in that email. If you don't, even if you think it might be somebody you've got to go directly to your web browser and go to the website directly. Don't click a link in an email. Yeah, right. I'm glad you pointed that out.
And these scam artists that are really trying to play on your emotions and, so-and-so's in danger. So-and-so's in the hospital. Yeah. So-and-so's in trouble. It's like watching Lassie. What? Timmy fell in the well again? Yeah. The best thing you can do is, instead of reacting impulsively, is to take a deep breath. And like you said earlier, Tony, get a hold of that person or get a hold of another family member who would know what's going on and get clarification as to whether or not there really was a car accident before you go off and start sending money.
Yeah. And tell someone about the message or the call you get or the email or what you saw online. Tell somebody else about it, saying, hey, I saw this online. They want me to do this. How does that sound to you? And don't be afraid to run it by a couple people that you trust. If you work with a financial professional like yourself, that's the first person you should probably go to. If it's about a family member, go to another family member who's close to that person, or try to contact that person directly, not with any number that you get from the person asking you for money.
Right. I don't know if I've told you this. My daughter and her husband both work for a bank. And my daughter has gotten in the middle of and intervened when there was a senior citizen, or somebody a little bit older coming in and needing a gift card or just coming up with something that didn't sound right. So I guess I've raised my daughter right, that she knows to ask questions. In fact, one time she actually got recognized because somebody was trying to pass a fraudulent check and she wouldn't cave into them. They were trying to rush her and say, but I got to go and get my COVID vaccine. I've got the appointment and I'm running late. And she stood her ground and wouldn't cash the stolen check and ended up saving that victim a good chunk of money because she followed the rules. These scam artists are going to try to get under your skin and play the emotions and try to get you to make an impulsive decision on the spot. And one of your first line of defense in protecting yourself is to not be reactionary and to ask questions and to tell them that you need to verify information. You need to think about something. You need to check out a couple of things. You're not making a decision right then and there. You're not sending them money right then and there. If they're trying to strong arm you and tell you that they're a utility company, the IRS, some sort of tax authority, and that you need, or, just take a deep breath. They're trying to intimidate you and scare you because they're trying to steal from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, the best thing you can do is to just not be reactionary. It's hard.
It is hard. It is hard. I've almost clicked links and I've done things like, whoa, wait a minute. What am I doing? I can't. This is probably not legit.
No.
Yeah. And especially anytime they ask for money or you go to you click on an email and they want you to enter your credit card to reactivate an account. It's like a lot of times most of the time that's just a scam.
Yeah. Newsflash. Nobody listening to this has won the Nigerian sweepstakes.
Yeah. And there's no Nigerian prince that needs your help.
No.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. Well, I think this has been a great show, and the message is these big companies won't ever call you. The IRS and these government agencies aren't going to call your phone. So if you get a phone call asking for this stuff, hang up. And if you think it could have been legit, contact them directly, but they will never call you.
No, they are never going to initiate anything like that.
Right.
And, it's not the worst thing you can do is to stay quiet about it. And it's not easy if you think that you're a victim of one of these scams. It's hard to come forward. It's hard to admit that you've made a mistake. It's hard to not feel dumb. Okay. But here's the thing I want you to remember is that you're the victim. And that the only way you stop being a victim is to speak up and to stop.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I think that makes sense. Well, a great show once again, Barbara.
Thanks, Tony.
And we just don't want our listeners out there falling victim to these scams.
No.
And you got to be on your tippy toes and pay attention. And don't feel bad. Anyone can be taken by these scams. I mean, we've all had that time where we're like, maybe this is no.
That sounds like fun.
And when in doubt, opt out. Don't do it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, Barbara, great show today. Listen, why don't you let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you? And I know you're offering a no charge, no obligation consultation. You love to hear from our listeners. You love to help answer their questions. How can they get a hold of you?
They can always reach out to us on our website, anchoryourretirement.com, or call our offices at area code 913-553-6222. Go to the appointments and scheduling prompt, and a member of our team will answer their phone, and we'll get you on the calendar to get you in the office. And if you are concerned that you are a potential victim of one of these online scams, stop any communication that you have with these companies. Reach out to a trusted family member or friend who will be judgment-free and help you through this, and then contact your local authorities. My client is right now working with the Attorney General. It's highly unlikely that he will get any of his money back, but every bit of information that can be furnished helps the authorities track down these slime balls and try to put them out of business.
Yeah, and that's important too. Well, Barbara, a great show today. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Anchor Your Retirement.
See you soon.
Thank you for listening to Anchor Your Retirement. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound retirement plan. For more information, please contact Gulin at Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group. Call 913-553-6222 or visit them online at anchoryourretirement.com.
Advisory services are offered through Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.